question.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Well, I'd like to start by asking you to tell me your full name, please.
Oh, Freeman Kimball Johnson. Yeah.
And when and where were you born, sir?
When?
Yes, sir.
March 11, 1920.
And,
And where?
Well, Waltham, Massachusetts.
and
I
how
thought
old are you today, sir?
I thought you were born in
Well,
Springfield.
yeah, but
He was born in Springfield,
born in
Massachusetts,
Springfield.
raised in Waltham.
Well, we moved there when I was 5. So I lived all my life in Waltham.
And how old are you now?
How old am I now?
Yes,
105.
that's incredible.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Yeah.
Well, could you tell me a bit about growing up during the 1920s and 1930s, please?
Well, I wasn't, I'm not a, I would say I'm not a typical uh, depression baby because my father had a steady job all during the depression. Oh, and so we didn't have, we didn't stand in any welfare lines or sell apples on the corner, that kind of stuff. We didn't do that, any of that.
Did you have any siblings?
I had a sister 5 years older than me.
Wow.
Yeah.
And what sorts of games did you play at the time as a kid?
Oh, oh, well, mostly out. We went out, you know.
And
We lived in a little neighborhood by itself. It was on the edge of town. It was on about a mile from the nearest shopping center or anything like that. And and it was a little neighborhood, 4 streets, and of course, we knew everybody in the little neighborhood, all the kids. And
And what was your father's or mother's jobs? What did your parents do?
What did your father do for work?
uh, he was a paper cutter. It doesn't sound like much, it's but it really wasn't. Uh, he worked for a company that made sales books, and, and it was a pretty good company. Uh, it wasn't fairly small, but we all knew. Well, we knew most everybody that worked there.
Tell him about the houses that Potter Press built.
Oh, yeah, he built a, a row of houses. There was one, two, three, four, five, 6, 7, 8. They built 8 houses and they sold them to the employees. And
And that's where you lived.
yeah,
So,
yeah,
And what was the name of the company?
pot of press.
Potter Press. How long did Grandpa work there?
Oh, I don't know. Oh, about 15 years.
well,
All through the Depression.
Yeah, well, no,
No?
during after the war started, uh, pot of press.
and did your father serve during the First World War?
Uh,
Did did your
Was
dad serve?
Grandpa in the,
no, no,
Okay.
he never served.
why not?
I don't know.
Oh, just didn't, just
Yeah,
wondered. Okay.
yeah.
And how were you in school? Could you tell me what your favorite subjects were?
Oh, I didn't like school. Yeah, yeah.
Did
I,
you have a favorite subject?
no, I didn't have one.
Ah, oh, you renegade.
And what motivated you to enlist in the Navy?
Well, uh, I graduated in 17, yeah, yeah,
No.
19, no,
What
17, 17, anyhow, uh,
you were 17 when you graduated? Is that what you're saying?
yeah,
Okay.
be 37.
Yeah.
Anyhow, uh, my parents couldn't afford to send me to college, so I didn't go to college, but I went to a maritime academy, 2 year course, only 2 years, and, and 'cause that's all they could afford. And so I graduated from there, and I had a job for a short while, and, and they laid me off. Well, that's another story. Anyhow, so I was living at home, not married, unemployed, prime time to be drafted, and the Congress had just passed the draft. So I knew I'd be going somewhere. Now, I don't mind walking. I kind of like walking, but I didn't want to walk from Rouen, France to Berlin, especially carrying a 9 pound rifle, a backpack with all my clothes, a couple of pairs of shoes, socks, spare underwear, water, all the water I could drink for a couple of days, 9 pound rifle, all that crap. I didn't want to carry that. So I joined the Navy, or at least you get a
And how old were you
Freeman.
when you joined?
Huh?
How old were you when you joined the Navy? How old were you? What age were you? Good.
19.
19, yeah, yeah.
1939.
Okay.
Yeah, December 1939. So I was 19. But, and just went
And
downhill from there.
could you tell me a bit about your basic training, please?
oh, it's just, I went to Newport, Rhode Island. Now, Newport is a upscale community. I mean, upscale. Uh, the Vanderbilts built, they call it a cottage. I think it's 11 rooms, granite floors. You know, today, it would probably cost 10 million to build. That's the whole community was like that. Uh, Today, uh, it's still most of those cottages are on display
Hmm.
to tourists to look at it, and but we didn't see any of that. We were out in the Cockabrush.
And what was the hardest part of your training there?
Uh, oh,
What was the hardest part of your training?
the hardest part.
Yes.
Oh, getting used to living out of a box. Yeah, all your clothes are in a little locker. That's it. You wash your own clothes.
You sleep with a lot of other people in the room?
Oh yeah, yeah. Sleep in the barracks. Uh, uh,
And you had heard about the war in Europe and with Japan invading China before? Did you think that the United States would get involved at the time?
Oh,
Did you think the United States would get involved in the
oh,
war?
oh yeah, yeah. It yeah, you knew they were going to get in sooner or later, one way or another. Of course, Roosevelt ran for his second term on the premise that he's going to be the arsenal of democracy, but the Americans are not going to go and be involved in a foreign war because there was a
And
monarchy. We knew sooner or later we get sucked in, one way or another. Yeah, it's nice to make be the arsenal of democracy, make all the tanks and all the guns and all the trucks and so forth. But that's in there in the United States. You got to get them over across the Atlantic to Europe. Somehow you got to get them there. The only way to get them there is by ship. So,
and
yeah,
when were you assigned to the St. Louis?
uh,
When did you go on board the St. Louis?
oh, well, when I got graduated from boot camp was January, oh, maybe February 1940. And they got shipped to Norfolk, and it'll be Virginia. It's a naval operating base. They were in the Navy. I got signed to her.
And
Uh,
what were your first impressions of life on board the ship and, and life abroad?
well, you're jammed together with a
3,500.
couple of thousand other sailors, best buddies you never saw before in your life. But you're living with them upstairs, you sleep below one, up above one. Just that power. Yeah, yeah.
And what were your first operations? Um, what where did you go?
Yeah. Ah, well, God, I don't remember the first thing we did. Because I was just an enlisted man. I was not an officer. I was an enlisted man. So they don't tell you anything. You don't have to know, so they don't tell you. Or you don't know. Most of the time, you don't know where you're going. When you get there, you don't know where you are. When you come home, you don't know where you've been. You're just along for the ride.
And what was your role on the St. Louis at the time? What was your job?
I was I was a fireman. But there were that's not like a firefighter. I'm a fireman. I make it to fire. Uh, and it's sure 4 on, 8 off. Uh, four on
And what does that job entail? What were you doing as a fireman?
oh, oh, oh. Well, you're standing in front of a boiler and you got 4 or 5 burners. And your job is to keep the pressure up. It's you light a fire or you shut it off, one or the other. It's 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 very simple, but you gotta stay alert all the time.
And how long was your typical shift in
Oh,
in the boilers?
you serve the, there's three shifts, 4 to 8, 8 to 12, 12 to 4. Yeah, that's or 8 to 12, 8 to 12. That means 8 in the morning till noontime, and 8 o'clock at night until midnight. You pour on 8 hours. Yeah, the other one is the other two, 12 to 4, noontime to 4 in the afternoon, or midnight to 4 in the morning. And the third shift, 4 in the afternoon till 8 o'clock at night. 4 a.m., 4 in the morning until 8 o'clock in the morning. That's and you
Wow.
do that over and over and over.
And did you work alone, or were you working with other people in the boilers?
Uh, 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 it, it takes 5 men to run a boiler.
Hmm.
2 firemen, saturated and superheated. Uh, a water tender, a force trap tender, and somebody running the pumps.
Say that again, Dad. It takes 5 men, and what are they?
2 firemen,
Okay.
one water tender.
A water tender?
Yeah,
What does he do?
he keeps the water in the. You got a gauge about this big, uh, and it shows how much water is in the boiler.
Okay.
And you have to keep water in there. If you don't, it's going to burn up.
All right.
And that's what his job is, keep the water. And Eddie,
So
and
2 firemen, a water tender.
the guy man the blowers, force trap blowers,
Okay. All right.
and somebody down below on the pumps.
Okay.
Thank you.
Interesting.
And when did you go into Pearl Harbor to dock?
Huh?
When did you arrive? What were you doing when you got to Pearl Harbor?
Oh. Well, sometime, uh, oh, uh, uh, we got, we went through the canal. Oh, before we went, we did that. We, at the time, Roosevelt loaned, loaned to this bunch of destroyers to the to the English, to the Brits, and well, they were mothballed. There'd be a bunch of them up the Hudson River, or a bunch in San Francisco Bay, and but they were mothballed. They were preserved. They weren't. Nobody was aboard them, and they we weren't using them. So Roosevelt more or less gave them to the Brits, and he felt he should get something in return to pacify Congress and the American public, that just so that he just didn't give them to. He got something in return. We what we got was air bases, place to land it, you know, aircraft. We uh we got three of them. We looked at four, the St. Louis and the Augusta, but the two of us, we went up, to the British Virgin Islands and looked at one. We went to Bermuda, looked at one. And They used the one in Bermuda. One of the Virgin Islands they didn't use. And then we had another one in Nova Scotia, a place called Argentia. That's still in use today. It turns out it's very near the flight path from New York to London. It's almost halfway, and it's quite it's it's an arc. You can't. It's not a straight line. That's celestial navigation or whatever you call it. Yeah, you can't go straight from London to New York because the curvature of the Earth. So the easiest way, the shortest way is to go this way. And it's right near. Goes right over Argentia. We went there. It's well, you've seen pictures of the Norwegian fjords, long, narrow
Yes.
spit of water and splits. And that's what it looked like. It's a mile and a half or so across and probably 6 or 8 miles long. But it's hills on both sides. So the two of us ships, Augusta and Sailors, we go in there and we drop anchor. And all you can see is trees, both sides, trees. No cabins, no people, no smoke from a cabin, no sign of human life at all. So at that time, that was peacetime, of course, for us. But that time, every ship showed a movie at night. As soon as the sun went down, they showed a movie. You put up a screen, and you saw on the fantail. Different one every night. If it rained, they didn't mess hall, but mostly it was up on deck. Hey, first night, they show the movie. And when it was over, we heard, 3 or 4 people clapping. Well, we never clapped. We, uh, so you look over the side, and there's 3 canoes with people in them. And, so of course somebody talked to them. And we told them there'd be a movie tomorrow night, too. So the next night, we look out, and there's 10, 12 canoes out there with people in them. And the third night, there was a bunch of them, there was piles of them. Fourth night, we were gone, so don't know what. Anyhow, but where the heck did they come from? You look at, there's no sign of a cabin or a smoke or human activity at all. There's 30 or 40 canoes. Where'd they come from? Where'd they go?
Watching your movie?
Yeah, we never saw the answer. Anyway, but that's our adventure. And right after that, we went through the canal to Honolulu,
To where?
Pearl Harbor.
Oh, to Pearl Harbor.
Honolulu.
Oh, Honolulu. Okay.
And how often would you go up onto the deck? Were you allowed to go up on deck every day?
Oh yeah. Yeah, and you ate off. You ate, you slept, you washed your clothes, uh, and
And what day did your ship arrive to Pearl Harbor?
Do you remember when you first got to Pearl Harbor? What day?
oh,
No. How long were you at Pearl Harbor before the bombing?
yeah,
Oh, really? I didn't realize.
yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, we spent Christmas 1940 at Pearl, uh,
Wow.
and we'd go on uh, exercises, maneuvers they call. Yeah, the whole fleet would go out Monday morning, 8 o'clock. The whole fleet would go out and putz around. Friday afternoon, we come back in. And the whole fleet. And you spend the weekend in Honolulu. And then Monday, the whole fleet goes back up. So it wasn't like it was a, a big surprise, that nobody, that the fleet was in there on the weekend because it did it every week. And of course, everybody could see, everybody in Honolulu could see the whole fleet going out. And what they knew, because there wasn't any sailors walking around Honolulu, because they were all out. So they knew it was no big secret. You didn't have to be a spy to tell the Japanese what was going on. They knew. And
There were a lot of ships there, Dad?
yeah, the whole fleet.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. 4 or 5 battleships, the old ones, like West Virginia, Arizona, WWII, Arizona. I don't know. Oklahoma. I don't remember who they all were.
And did you ever get to go to off of the St. Louis to Honolulu on leave at during this year?
Did you get to go on leave in Hawaii, in Honolulu?
Oh yeah,
Yeah. Where did you go?
go to Honolulu, get get something to eat. Good. Yeah,
Hmm.
the Navy fed you, but it wasn't exactly gourmet food. Yeah, when you're feeding 2,000 people 3 meals a day,
All right.
it, it's it gets kind of monotonous. But anyhow, so we'd go to Honolulu, get something to eat mostly.
And now could we talk about the Pearl Harbor attack? And I'd like to ask where you were when the attack started.
Uh, where it was,
Yeah.
Yeah.
well, was was in the morning before, just before 8 o'clock, 7:56 actually. Uh, you eat breakfast is at 7, so everyone was through eating, and I, well, we were in port. Well, actually, we were in the Navy Yard at Pearl, and I'd go back to my bunk and was reading. Uh, uh, and all of a sudden, the machine guns up overhead started shooting, and they sent a GQ. And it was we went. we the St. Louis was very lucky to start off with. Most of the light cruisers were in the Navy Yard, the Helena, the Boise, the uh, and anyhow, they were in a slip, and the St. Louis was at the end, parked this way. And, uh, most on the weekends, most of the senior officers, most of the officers, and well, half of the crew too, was ashore somewhere on little, you know, and uh, uh, but that day, which just happened to be a skipper had stayed aboard for the weekend. I don't know why, but he was there, so that he was already on board with when they started. So he was way ahead of everybody else. And we said a GQ. Uh, we were we had, we were in the Navy had to do some work on number 7 boiler. That was the boiler I was in front of, and but the work was all done, but we hadn't put the boiler back together. So I went down in front of my boiler, and they stuck me inside, putting it together, and uh, you could hear the force trap blowers by the other boiler beside me, and you could feel the pressure building up, and then finally we got underway. About takes minimum half an hour. But, normal routine, uh, going by the book, it's 3 hours to get a boiler up to speed, up to pressure, and on the line. We did it in 20 minutes. It, peacetime Navy is one thing. Wartime Navy, just throw the book over the side and do what you have to do. And so we had to get underway. We did. We were the first ship out. I don't know whether we were the first or the second. I was told at one time that we were the second because there was a destroyer who was supposed to go out at 8 o'clock, and so they went out, but we didn't get out till 8:20. But anyhow, uh, but we got out without a scratch. No, we didn't get bombed. We didn't get strafed. We we got out, but so they called a Lucky Lou. Yes, the name stuck.
I'd like to ask, did you think at first that it was a training exercise, maybe, when you first heard the machine guns?
Well, you kind of didn't know, but they said a GQ, which is General Quarters. And then they had all hands, man, you better. Then they said, "This is not a drill." Right over the loudspeaker. This is not a drill. So you kind of knew.
And tell Lewis, because I found this interesting, Lewis, but when that alarm goes off, that you have to go where you have to go, right?
Oh,
You're assigned.
yeah, yeah. You had GQ, General Quarters, all had manual battle station. Everybody has a spot on the ship. Everybody. And it's it's where you're supposed to go. So everybody go.
And your spot was where?
Oh, my spot's in front of number seven boiler.
And that's where you went.
Yeah. But then
And what were your orders from there, being in front of the boiler? What?
I went inside the boiler, put it back together. Then I came outside. We fired it up. Uh,
I see.
uh,
And that's where you said that normally it took how long to do that?
3 hours,
And you did it how quickly?
20 minutes.
So you could get out of
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
Okay.
Well,
Wow.
the other seven boilers were going,
Uh-huh.
so we got out of there.
And after the attack, what were your initial orders? Where did you go after you steamed out of Pearl Harbor?
Oh, well, I was pretty low on the totem pole, you know. I was only a fireman. They don't tell you anything except what's that steam. That's all. So what the orders were, eventually it would trickle down to, so I knew where we were or where we were going, but they didn't tell me until I was almost there. But we stayed out. Of course, it was bad confusion. Yeah, we lost 5 battleships and uh, other ships too, but so they didn't. You know, everybody was confused, up in arms. Yeah. Uh, it, it took them a couple of days to get their heads straight. Yeah, yeah.
And I heard that a Japanese submarine fired off two torpedoes at the St. Louis as it left the harbor.
Yeah.
Did you hear about that later?
Well, we didn't know about that, but they, they didn't tell us.
And could you tell me about the first time you went up on deck and saw the destruction?
Oh, well, by the time I get up on deck, we were out
Okay.
long ago. Couldn't see anything, nothing. There was nothing to see. We were, you know, 25, 30 miles off the coast, so you couldn't see anything.
And how was the rest of the crew feeling? The ones who
Huh?
had been firing the guns and had seen the attack. Did,
No. Uh,
I'm sorry, he didn't hear you, and neither did I.
um, how what was the rest of the crew feeling? Did you speak to them and did you learn about the attack from them?
How was the rest of the crew feeling?
oh,
Did you chat with them and talk about everything?
oh,
Why not?
I don't know. We didn't. That's all. Yeah. They didn't know any more than I did. So, so we
Mm.
didn't. We just didn't know.
That must have been scary.
Well, yeah, yeah. Somebody threw the bomb at you. It's it's awakening, nothing else. Uh, uh,
Did you get as far away from there as you could?
oh yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. We couldn't. We were 30 miles away by the time I got up, and and
So you really had no idea what was going on.
no. The next day, I think it was the next day. Could have been 2 or 3 days, but anyhow, we went back in because had been in the Navy had. we hadn't fueled, so we were low on fuel, and we went back in and we fueled up and right back out to sea. So we didn't stay long enough to sightsee and see any of the damage that was done. We just went out and we went to San Francisco, had a radar put on. At the time, there was one radar, one, in the whole Pacific Ocean was on Diamond Head on Hawaii. It wasn't something new. They were still learning how to use it, learning how to make it, and actually, Raytheon Company makes radar, invented the radar. Ironically, Raytheon was started in Waltham, you know, about a half a mile from my house. Because I didn't know what it was. Before it made radar, it made what was called a bathymeter. It measures the depth of the ocean from where you are. Where you, yeah, but
You next escorted some Marines to America and Samoa. Did you interact with the Marines at all?
Did you escort Marines to American Samoa?
oh, I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't think so,
Okay.
Lewis.
But you did
We
let's
could have, we could have, but uh, we took a handful of Marines somewhere. I don't remember where now.
Really?
But they just slept on deck. They were the equivalent of the light or Green Beret. But that was before the Green Beret, but they were the equivalent.
Okay.
They were they just lived with what they had. Just, they didn't get a bug, but all the bugs were taken, so they slept on deck. And when we got to where we would unload them, we put them in a boat. Up they went. I don't know what happened to them, or where it was. They, I didn't have to know, so they didn't tell me.
and you next escorted the president of the Philippines to the United States. Do you remember that at all?
Did you escort the president of the Philippines to the United States?
That's what I know.
Okay. Mm.
You escorted FDR
Yeah, but that was on the Iowa.
on the Iowa.
Yeah.
Could you
Yeah.
tell me a bit about the submarine hunting operations that the St. Louis engaged in?
Oh,
Did the St. Louis hunt submarines?
oh, I don't think so.
No?
No.
You don't remember that?
Destroyers hunt submarines. No, no.
And the St. Louis was a battleship.
I see.
Coast.
Cruiser, sorry.
Yeah.
You went up to Alaska, is that right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, the Japanese occupied uh, two little islands. The Aleutian Islands run from Alaska towards uh, Japan. Yes. And it's just a chain of little, well, mostly they're rocks. They're just rocks. There's nobody living on them because there's no dirt. Most of them don't have any trees. They're just a rock. And there's a holster in them. but the last two nearest to Japan, uh, Attu and Agatu. One of them, Attu, is big enough to form a small uh, base, and the Japanese put a few troops ashore. So that, so they sent. We had two light cruisers and three destroyers up, and they sent us up to Alaska. We went over to Attu and bombarded them, just to let them know we were there. We didn't expect to occupy them or anything. Just, you know. But Alaska, especially in the summertime, it's cold, wet, overcast most of the time. You can't see very far because it's overcast or raining or, yeah. But eh, we we bombarded them, but that's it. We put action on a little.
And then you were transferred to the Iowa in December. Is that right?
Yeah, uh, uh, in the summer of 42, summer, early fall, I got transferred up to St. Louis. Uh, and anyway, to a transfer station in San Francisco Bay, uh, Treasure Island. It's in the middle of San Francisco Bay. Hey, it's a transfer station. Oh, it was then. And you get transferred there. I was there for, I don't know, 2, 3 weeks. Then you get transferred. They don't tell you where you're going. You know, one day they announced Johnson, you know, report with your sea bag tomorrow morning, 8 o'clock at the.
And do you know why you were transferred from the St. Louis?
Uh, no, they don't tell you. You just get, they tell you, you know, pack your sea bags, be ready to leave tomorrow morning, 8 o'clock. That's it. No why, no where you're going. You just do as you're told, keep your mouth shut.
And were you transferred with anybody else, or was it just
Oh,
you?
yeah, there's a whole bunch of us.
No.
Actually, there were 6 cars, 7 cars in the train. There were 3 cars of sailors, a dining car, and then 3 cars of soldiers, all in one train. We all went to New York. What, what happened to the rest of them? I have no idea. All I know is 6 of us kept pulling on a bus. We, uh, we got pulled off at Sand Street in Brooklyn. There's Sand Street Barracks. Across the street, directly across Sand Street from the Sand Street Barracks, is Brooklyn Navy Yard. And we went up, there were 6 of us, and but second floor is a barracks. First floor is a mess hall. Second floor is second and third floor are barracks. And there was just 6 of us in this room with 40 bunks. We were the first of the on the side of the air. They didn't tell us the first day I got that, and a, a cheap petty house. WWII is his name. Yeah. He came out to the six of us. He says, "My name is W.W. White. I'm." He says there are officers around somewhere. Since they don't live here, they live, different building. But he says you won't see them, but they are around somewhere. Uh, You are the first six for the Iowa, and he says today is December the 23rd. He says, I live in New Jersey. I'm going home for Christmas. The officers don't come around, so they don't know who you are or where you are or what you're doing. He says, I'm your SOP, senior officer person, and I'm going home for Christmas. I'll see you on the 26th. And off he went. Well, so we went home. I lived in Boston, train right away. And, so went back, and on the 26th, and he after breakfast, he marched us over to the Iowa. I got assigned to boiler room number 4. That's where I spent the rest of my naval career. Same place.
Was the Iowa very different to the St. Louis?
Oh yeah.
How? How was it different?
Well, the St. Louis weighs probably 12,000 ton. The Iowa's 55,000.
Wow.
Wow.
St. Louis had 6-inch guns. The Iowa has 16-inch guns. Uh, uh,
And you had the same duties on that ship as before?
uh,
Did you have the same duties on the Iowa? Yeah.
oh, no, well, no, actually. Uh, I was a machinist mate by that time. Machinist mate third, just, and I ran the pump room. Well, I didn't run it. I didn't run it at first, but by the time,
And,
uh, about a year in, I was running the pump room.
okay. And your first operation was taking FDR and many other politicians and generals to Iran. Is that right?
Yeah, well, gee, we did our shakedown, and the Listening Commission, and I don't remember what we did, but shortly went back to Norfolk, and they put the elevator in for FDR and the bathtub. Yeah.
Did you catch that, Lewis?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
Thank you.
We actually went and visited the St. Louis on our way home from Iowa. You're right. We visited the Iowa on our way home from Hawaii 5 years ago, Dad.
Yeah.
And we got to see the bathtub and the elevator, which Dad had never seen while he was on the ship.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I was crew. I was, in the boiler room. If it ain't in the boiler room, I don't get to see it. So,
And there's no other ship that has had a bathtub or an
oh,
elevator, right?
yeah. Uh, the Boston Globe, the newspaper, has a little column they call history. Or I forget what they call it. Yeah, I think they just call it history. Anyhow, so it's a little tidbits of information like the oldest, how old is uh, the age of when the president has a birthday. They put that. It's his birthday. Uh, odd, odd little bits of information you you probably would never know. And anyway, in that little column one day, it said, yeah, which battleship, the only battleship in the world that ever had a bathtub? Now, I didn't know, but it's the Iowa. It's
Hmm.
still when FDR, because he was paralyzed, you the legs, and so he couldn't stand in a shower. So we had a bathtub installed for him and so that.
Did you ever see FDR?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. We all had a picture taken with him.
Really?
Yeah,
And what was that like? Was it exciting to meet the president at the time?
no, well, shouldn't make any difference to us. It's just same routine. Yeah,
Okay. And
we knew
well,
we knew he was aboard, but yeah, didn't make any difference. Yeah,
and
yeah,
can you tell me about supporting the aircraft carrier airstrikes in the Pacific?
yeah. Yeah.
Did you support air carrier?
Oh, well, finally, uh, uh, finally uh, well, battleships are, it's a big ship, 55,000 ton. Uh, uh, oh, by the way, it says 55,000 ton in uh, naval lingo. That means 55,000 ton dry. Dry means as it sits, if you could pick it up and weigh it, except it means before any oil is put on. And we carried almost 3 million gallons of oil at 7.5 pounds per gallon. That's considerable weight. And ammunition, each shell weighs a ton, and it takes a ton of smokeless powder to fire it. So every time there's a salvo, that's 18 ton right there. So, and there's more than one. Eh, How many I have no idea. And but so you need oil, ammunition, small stores, all the supplies, all the food, all that comes on after the 55,000 ton. I think actually it probably weighed pretty close to 80,000, but you don't weigh it. It's, uh,
And by
and
that time, you were in the Pacific. Is that right? The
In the
Iowa.
Pacific?
Yes. Sorry. Go ahead. Uh, Mr.
well, we came back, drop a FTR, then we went right through, we went right across. So, uh, uh, by that time, the admirals had finally awakened to the fact that battleships are much use. Yeah.
Okay.
You don't fight another battleship. You just don't. Yeah, yeah. Too much money, uh, too many people, and it's just not worth it. So, so, but because they have enormous firepower, you got besides the 16-inch guns, you got aircraft batteries, anti-aircraft batteries, uh, lots of them. There's 3-inch guns. I think there was 8 turrets of 3-inch guns, two guns per turret. So there's 16 3-inch guns, and uh, there's at least 6 uh, 20 millimeter cannon turrets. Each turret has four guns on it. So there's 16 20 millimeter cannon, and we had about 35 or 40 20 millimeter cannon. Those have been taken off and just got it. But so you got an enormous firepower against aircraft. And so they delegated the battleships to protecting the aircraft carriers. And that's mostly what we did. Yeah. The, like the Battle of Lady Gulf, that's all we did. We were right beside an aircraft carrier, trying to keep the kamikaze away. We had one of the duties that are assigned to the B division, fighter boater division, is that somebody is up the up the foremast on higher than the smokestacks, so he can see in the smokestacks. Look down up, and here's a telephone, and and if smoke is coming up, he's supposed to tell he could pick out which boiler it is and call and let them know which one is smoking, so they can speed the blowers up and but it you're up there all by yourself, uh, up the mast quite a ways, all by yourself. So when the Lady Gulf, when the kamikaze were coming over our ship, headed for the aircraft carriers, he's up there by himself, and he could see the planes coming, and he's, by the time he came down, he was petrified.
I don't blame him.
We, we couldn't shut him up. He was screaming, saying, "Hey, oh, they were coming right there, going right by me. I could have hit him with a potato." She probably
Wow.
so, but
And let's see. And what was your task while you were in that battle of Leyte Gulf? Were you down in the boilers
oh yeah,
working
right,
them?
right on the pump. Yeah.
And from there, could you hear the battle going on outside?
So,
Could you hear anything?
oh, you can. Well, yeah, you can hear the guns going off. Hey,
But you can't do anything, right?
no,
Just do your job.
just do my job. Keep my mouth shut.
And if the ship were to have been hit Could you have gotten out easily from the boilers?
Oh, that's a good question. If the ship was hit, Dad, could you have gotten out?
Oh,
No?
Hmm.
yeah. Well, technically, it depends on where a ship is divided into what they call watertight sections. Yeah, the boiler, the two boilers in one section, the engine room, another, so forth. All through the ship is divided into sections, and it's supposedly watertight. But where you have to go through them, you go through a watertight door, or up or down, with the watertight hatch, and supposedly they could shut them. But if you happen to be in the section that gets hit, uh, bye, you give them a chance to get out. There's, there's an escape hatch, but you know, if well, we sat around one day chewing the fat, and somebody brought that up. What's your chance? Well, if some guy summed it up pretty, uh, he says, if a torpedo comes through that wall right there, you got about half a second to decide what to do, and do it. You got half a second to run over there to the escape hatch, open the door, climb in, close the door, lock it down, climb the ladder, open the hatch, climb out, close the hatch, dog it down. You got about half a second to do all that. If you don't get it all done, too bad. You're gone. So some other guy says, well, on the bright side, uh, land is only about a mile away. Straight down.
Oh, that's horrible.
But that's where it was. Yeah.
Wow. And I'd like to ask, did you ever go onto the deck while there was a offshore bombardment going on? Did you ever see the guns firing from the deck?
Oh, I never did.
Hmm.
Yeah. They're at GQ when they fire.
And did you ever disembark at any ports while you were in the Pacific?
Yeah.
Did you ever disembark at any ports in the Pacific?
Oh, uh, oh yeah. Well, not really. uh, if you go, well, uh, outside of Hawaii, uh, yeah, the only places we went, Iwo Jima, Saipan, Scottsdale. We never went ashore there. Uh, uh, the Marines were still trying to get it back. Uh, Kwajalein. Uh, we never went ashore there. That's an atoll in the Pacific. There's three big atolls, three big ones. Uh, an atoll is a bunch of little islands, little sand dunes, and a bit somewhere in the way distant past had been a mountain, and the top had blown off and leaves all these little islands around. It's deep in the middle, but Kwajalein is bigger. There's three big ones: Kwajalein, WWII, and Ulysses. Uh, the first one we went to was Portsmouth, and we thought that was big because it was, you know, 3 or 4 miles in in uh, in diameter, uh, and but then we went to WWII, that was twice as big. Then we went to Quadrant, which is even bigger, and uh, Ulithi, which is even bigger, and the whole fleet could fit in there. But, but it's sand dunes. Uh, it's a little sand dune, maybe a palm tree, maybe 2 palm trees. A big one will have 5 palm trees. But it's not exactly like, yeah,
And I read that the Iowa was experienced the Typhoon Cobra. Do you remember at all being in the typhoon that occurred, 1945?
Were you in a typhoon when you were on the Iowa?
yeah, yeah.
Really? I didn't know that. What was that like?
It's true. Well, the ship, yeah, sh ship goes up and down, rocks back and forth.
Oh,
Uh,
oh,
uh, Nothing you can do about it.
did you throw up?
No.
Did other people?
By then, no.
No.
By that time, you've been on a ship long enough. You get sick once or twice, and the first time you have a storm, you get sick because the ship rocks back and forth, and up and down. It never sits still. It's always moving, and you get sick first time. But you know, once you get over your seasickness, you never get seasick again.
Okay.
You just don't.
Was it scary, the typhoon?
Oh yeah.
Sounds horrifying.
It was a massive one, and apparently two ships sank in it.
Really?
Yes.
Did you know that, Dad?
Well,
2 ships sank in that typhoon?
oh no, I'm
No.
not surprised.
What was it named, Lewis?
Yes, the typhoon was called Typhoon Cobra.
Cobra.
Yes.
I never knew that, Dad.
Didn't know it either.
But you knew you were in
Well, yeah. Uh, uh,
it. I
I,
should hope so.
uh, yeah, we could see all those an aircraft carrier with us. Uh, haven't got much one. Doesn't matter. Uh, you've been aboard an aircraft carrier. But the top deck is flat, and it's way up over the water. Must be 40 feet. Oh, the, the bow is 40 feet from the water up. And anyhow, like, uh, I don't know what aircraft carrier was with us, but there was one. But the waves were breaking over the flight deck.
Wow. And well, like, could you describe to me what the boiler room looks like? What can you tell me how it looks? Um,
What did your boiler room look like?
Oh, well, uh, oh, that's kind of hard to do. uh, well, on the St. Louis, on the Iowa, uh, it goes from one side to the other of the ship. Uh, so it's uh, 35 feet one side to the other, probably the same distance fore and aft. And there are 16 pumps in that that pump room. Uh, and they'll they each have a job to do, and I don't know, but that's what I did. I ran them. Yeah.
Is it cramped in there? Is it a small space?
Oh, yeah.
Well,
It's small in there.
it's 35 feet across. You know, not that small.
How many people were in that 35 feet?
Three of us.
Wow.
Well, then next level up, that's the bottom. That's the bottom. You don't go any further. And then the next level up is the boilers, and you got 10 people up there. Well, actually, you got 11. You got the chief, and and, and
And is it dark in there? Is it dark in the boiler room?
well, the lights, lights.
Okay.
If you turn the lights on, it's dark, but there's always lights on.
You
Oh,
slept down there before, didn't you?
well, yeah, my bunk room was hot. Well, South Pacific, everything's hot. Uh, uh, my bunk room was hot, but you got ventilation fans. Uh, uh, they're about 8, 10 inches in diameter. It brings fresh air down from top side to the bottom room. And there's, I don't know, 8 or 10 of them around. So when they come down, that's where you stand or uh, when you're not doing something else.
Did you ever have to improvise any fixes in there?
That's a good question.
But,
Did you ever have to improvise any fixes in there?
oh, you mean Mickey Mouse stuff? No,
No.
no. Uh, uh, the Navy doesn't like Mickey Mouse stuff. Uh, they have spare parts for everything. Everything. I'm amazed at the spare parts they have. If, if a pump broke, I had to take it apart. I'd know what was wrong and go up to the storeroom and tell the storekeeper what I wanted. Now, he may bring out blueprints for the pump I was talking about because he's got blueprints and he's got parts. Every every damn thing you can think of, he's got a part for it. And I never stumped him, and uh, he just had so many. Yeah, I
How is
don't.
the food on the ship?
Huh?
How was the food?
Oh, uh, we got 3 meals a day, every day, no matter what. Uh, If we had GQ or well, at come mealtime, they brought sandwiches, but we got 3 meals every day. It may only be a sandwich. We never had to eat MREs. You know what those are? Meals ready to eat.
What are
Meals,
the MREs? Is that what you said, Dad?
yeah, they're
Meals ready to eat?
they're called officially they are called meals ready to eat. Unofficially, meals rejected by everybody. But we never had that. Had,
Excuse me.
What would you do in your downtime?
wash your clothes, uh, sleep, uh, uh, play AC Doocy. Yeah.
Did you ever have the opportunity to swim in the ocean?
No.
No?
I I don't swim anyhow.
Okay.
How's that, Lewis, for a Navy boy that doesn't swim?
But doesn't matter. You know, where are you going to swim to?
It's fair. Did you ever receive letters on the ship and write letters to home?
Did you get mail on the ship and did you write letters?
Oh, yeah. Well, you're encouraged to write letters. And, and you got mail once in a while. Uh, you're encouraged to write letters. Keep the people back home. Let them know you're still alive. But you you can't. It's wartime. You know, you can't divulge pertinent information. If you know where you are, if you know where you are, chances are you don't. But you can't write it in a letter. I'm in Saipan. Oh, I'm off Saipan, bombarding them. You can't put that in a letter because they read your mail before they mail it, and just cut it out. Cut it out.
And were there any running jokes on the ship or any sayings that sailors used?
Were there any running jokes
Oh,
on the ship or any sayings that were like common or something? Any inside jokes?
no, I don't think so.
No, nothing about food or anything?
It wasn't. It wasn't funny to start with.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
And do you remember any particular traditions on board?
Yeah.
Did you celebrate birthdays or holidays or anything? No?
No, you get a little better. Like Thanksgiving and Christmas, you get a little bit of meal at noontime, but that's all.
But you had movies, right? That was a tradition, kind of.
Well, uh, they didn't have them on deck after December 7th.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Well, no, we got they stopped showing movies.
Hmm.
So what did you do for fun? I mean, and I know you were in the service, but there had to be downtime, right?
We played AC Doocy. Yeah, that's about it.
And that's a card game?
Uh,
That's a card game,
Dice.
dice. Oh,
I see.
Right. Checkers.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
And you were in Tokyo Bay the day of the surrender, is that right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Could you tell me what you saw and if you were where you were?
Oh, well, I was still on the Iowa, and I went up to Smoke Watch, because the Missouri was, half a mile away. You could see the boats coming and going with the big Marines. The Japanese, of course, are a small people. They're not, you know, they're 5'5", or less. Uh, So MacArthur made sure every Marine that came near the Japanese was at least 6 foot tall. That, that was you couldn't be assigned there unless you were 6 foot tall because he wanted the Marines to tower over all the Japanese diplomats.
And did you watch from the deck of the ship, or did you say you were on the smoke watch?
Oh, it's up on this. That's a smoke watch. But so you could, it's because it's up, it's a spot on the ship assigned to the fire room.
Okay.
That's a spot. You don't, uh, you, well, you get 3,500 people on a ship the size of the Iowa. The
And,
people that man the guns, man the big guns, they have a little group to themselves. You don't come in their territory. They don't come in yours. People in the 5 inch guns, they were in another little group that stays in their area. So nobody goes in the 5 inch turrets, and 5 inch turret guys don't go in the big guns, and they don't come down below to the fire room. They just don't. They don't, they don't belong there. They don't go there. But just a little spot for the smoke watch belongs to the fire room. So,
and so you had the best spot on the ship then.
yeah.
Did you have the best spot on the ship? Dad? Was that a pretty damn good spot?
No,
No?
Better
no. Well, and then what do you want to do?
to see the surrender.
Oh, well, best part would have been on the Missouri. But as good as any. Yeah, but you could see him.
And what were the emotions like that day on the ship? Were there celebrations?
Uh, Well, I wouldn't say there were celebrations, but we were certainly happy. Uh, yeah. So, well, we were talking, daughter and I were talking the other day, and everybody was expecting a long war, a long, dragged out battle for Japan. Uh, from the experience from Saipan and Iwo Jima and the rest of the others, the Japanese came up very rarely. You had to shoot them. They just didn't surrender. You had to shoot them. And they would they would try to shoot you first. And so you really didn't have a choice. So we knew to go invade Japan, it was going to cost American lives, a lot of them. And we all knew that, that it would cost a lot of us. A lot of us wouldn't come back. So we were, you know,
Happy to see the surrender.
happy, yeah, sure. Happy Harry Truman dropped the bombs. Yeah, or else it would have been us.
Well, the Iowa was the Admiral Halsey's flagship, right?
The The Iowa was Admiral Halsey's flagship. No?
No? Okay.
On a carrier, he went on a carrier.
I see.
Aircraft. We, we,
And
actually, uh, uh, there was only just us. So, uh, uh, the Fifth Fleet and the Seventh Fleet. Uh, at the time, we used to get a newspaper, what they call a newspaper, one sheet would be, it would be uh, headlines from uh, a little paper. I can't remember what it was called. Doesn't matter. Be a newspaper. We get one sheet maybe once a month, some months, and trying to tell us what's going on. And it would print a copy from the San Francisco Chronicle. And it would, yeah, person, boom, one time I remember we were saying, uh, the victorious Fifth Fleet returns to Hawaii and Pearl Harbor for rest and recreation. The Seventh Fleet takes over, manned by, oh geez, doesn't matter. There's two admirals. Halsey was one of them. Uh, anyhow, one was manned by Halsey. One was, oh geez, I can't remember. Hey, so, but actually, what happened? Halsey would get transferred from a destroyer to the aircraft carrier by boy. We stayed there. We were the Fifth Fleet. When he showed up, we were the Seventh Fleet. When he left, we were the Fifth Fleet. That's the only guy that got transferred that went to Hawaii for rest and recreation. Our rest and recreation was right there, right in the middle of it.
and when did he return to the US from Japan?
Oh, well, after the surrender, it was in Tokyo Bay, and so we gathered a bunch of us. Well, we used to, you know, there's always a group that collects, heavy, always, anyhow. So we collected, we were sitting around chewing the fat one day, and shortly after surrender, and the subject came up, when are we going home? And which way? You were in Tokyo Bay. We're going to go to Boston. So somebody has to figure out how far it is to Boston from Tokyo. So which way do you go? Do you go from Tokyo across the Pacific to San Francisco, or do you go to Panama, to the canal, up the East Coast to Boston? So I forgot what the actual number was, but say it's 25,750 miles if by going from Tokyo to the Panama Canal, to the Gulf of Mexico, up the East Coast to Boston. Or if you go from Tokyo Harbor to the China Sea, to the Indian Ocean, to the Suez Canal, to the Mediterranean, straight to Gibraltar, to New York, to Boston. It's 25,500 miles. 200 shorter. So we thought, us peons, we should go the short way because none of us had ever been through the Indian Ocean or through the Suez Canal or through the Mediterranean, except the short run from uh, Strait of Gibraltar to Tehran. Anyhow, but they didn't listen to us. Damn,
And
we
when
went.
were you first discharged?
uh, uh,
Sorry, when did you arrive to the United States then?
to Seattle,
Okay.
and they shipped us home to Boston from Seattle.
And do you know when you were discharged?
Yeah,
24th of December.
before that, I think it was the 13th, 12th to 13th.
But you got home in time for Christmas.
Yeah, oh yeah. We didn't have any money, so but anyhow, the war was over.
Did you get paid while you were in the service?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
oh yeah, big money, big bucks, $72 a month,
A month.
a month.
And would you send that money back to your family?
What did you do with the money?
Oh,
Rum and cokes?
Bob and go. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I'd like to ask a couple of finishing questions. What do you want young people today to know about Pearl Harbor and World War II and the men and women who served?
What do you want young people today to know about Pearl Harbor and the people who served?
Oh, oh, oh. Uh, I don't know. We just preventative. We can help it. Just uh,
To prevent it, is that what you said?
yeah.
Well, you don't want them to forget it either, right?
No, but you got. It's a war is a waste, a total waste. It, you, well, look at the TV today. Oh, the Gaza Strip. They just blow up building after building after building. You got to rebuild them sooner or later. It's just a waste.
What are you most proud of from your service?
What are you most proud of?
But I survived.
And what do
That's
you think
about.
has, sorry to interrupt, what were you going to say?
uh,
Did he interrupt you? Were you going to say something else?
no.
No, okay.
Okay. I'd just like to know, what do you think has helped you live such a long and full life?
What's your secret to a long and full life? He has a pat saying. What do you always say, Dad?
Yeah. Just keep moving. That's all. Actually, this Northeastern University is doing a study on on long, longevity,
Longevity.
and how they'll try to. I was part of it for a while, but they're looking into nutrition and how much exercise you get, what kind of exercise, when do you smoke, how long do you smoke, how much do you drink, and you know. So, and I don't think any of that amounts to a heck of a lot. I smoked for 50 years. I started when I was 16. I didn't give up till I was in my 70s. Uh, I was surrounded by asbestos in the Navy for 6 years, surrounded by it. Everything is covered in asbestos to keep it, hot. Uh, I shoveled coal for a couple of years as a fireman. Shovel coal. Uh, that's you get black lung disease from handling coal. And, and I'm 105 years old. So all the things you're not supposed to do, I've done.
Well, I've got two final questions for you. Um, how do you look back on your generation's role in history? Is the first one.
How do you look back on your generation's what?
Role in history.
Rule. How do you look back on your generation's rule in history?
Role. Their part in history.
Role. ROLE, role in history.
Yeah. Well, they call it the greatest generation. But uh, uh, I don't know. We just did what you had to do. That's all. We didn't, we didn't have a choice.
I think you did have a choice. I think it was a mindset back then, Dad. I mean, that's just what you did. That whole generation, right? I mean, you
Yeah,
just did it.
yeah. Well, you didn't have a choice. Uh,
All right.
And my final question would be, if you had could give one message to my generation and future generations, what would it be?
yeah. Well, as they say, history repeats itself. Don't do it again. But uh, it's well,
You don't like war, right? You don't believe in war. You don't like war.
it doesn't. Well, I don't think it solves anything. It hasn't solved anything.
Right.
Yeah. You still got people like Putin who want to. We'll go back to Catherine the Great, but and instead of Japan, we got North Korea. Yeah, yeah. Well, you, well, I don't know. You know, I don't know what the answer is.
It's okay.
What I'm afraid of, the way it looks to me, somebody, either Putin or uh, the North Korean or the Iranians or even Trump could set up an A bomb and everyone would be shooting back and forth A bombs and most of us would get killed. That's that's the worst case scenario, but that's the way it looks to me. It's going to happen.
Well,
Uh, so I'm not an optimist, that's for sure.
well, Mr. Freeman, I thank you so much for your time, sir. It's and for your service. It's been a real
No,
pleasure to speak with you and an incredible honor.
yeah,
Um, I can't thank you enough, sir.
no.
Louis, would you send us your address?
Sure. Yes, I
That
will.
Dad has a card. I'm sure he'll sign it for you. It has some of his history on the back of it.
Well, I'd really
So
appreciate that. Thank you.
send us
And
your address. I'll get that out in the mail this week.
thank you so much, Miss Diane.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
I'm super impressed by how well you are, Mr. Freeman. You look like you're 73. You're just incredibly young for your age. It's incredible. Um, well, and I just can't thank you enough for your time. So you guys have a great weekend and thank you so much for
Thanks for your interest and
All right.
don't hesitate to reach out again.
Yeah.
yeah, I'll call you up and check in on how you're doing and yeah, I'd love to speak and just catch up on how you guys are doing sometimes.
So what are you doing, Louis?